The New York Jets and New York Giants are going to be playing their season without fans. Now, this really doesn't make too much of a difference because the New York Jets don't have fans in the stands anyway, and the New York Giants, from what I'm told, have about 80% of the capacity away fans. Just kidding. Those of you that are New York Jets and Giants fans are usually hardcore fans to the death, and I got nothing but respect for that. But we're going to talk about that. The Titans signing Derrick Henry, that was a deal done about a week ago. We're going to talk about what I personally think about that. JADEVON CLOWNEY to the Tennessee Titans, all but confirmed. They say that they want CLOWNEY to have a physical, and it looks like there's a very, very, very high chance the Titans will sign JADEVON CLOWNEY. Where they can go from that direction exactly. And Antonio Brown the other day announces his retirement. Why this is just another poke of Antonio Brown trying to draw attention to himself, so on and so forth. Hit the like button, subscribe, do everything you got to do. Stay right here. About is the Giants and Jets announcing they will not have fans. Now, I didn't know. It says here on this article's from Fox News. Again, Fox News. Let's take it with a grain of salt. It says the Giants and Jets fans won't be allowed at games. The Giants and Jets will play their home games in front of empty seats until further notice. Like my nice little jab at the beginning, it wouldn't make much of a difference. Now, the article technically stated to everyone that, I'm going to read it in a minute, it stated to everyone that they are going to be doing this for the whole season, and now it's till further notice. Is there a chance that there could be some fans at football games before the season ends? I absolutely believe so. Will it be at a raucous full capacity of 80,000? No, it will not. No, it will not. There will not be a sold-out Giants or Jets game this year because you don't want to go too fast, especially MetLife Stadium being located technically in New Jersey, but generating a lot of people from New York and in and around the city. It could definitely be a hot spot to the virus exploding out of proportion, and that's not something that we want right now, especially with New Jersey being on such good track. The article says, MetLife Stadium may play host to football this fall, but it won't happen with fans in attendance. The Giants and Jets will play their home games in front of empty seats until further notice, the team said in a joint statement Monday, citing Governor Murphy's ruling the outdoor crowds of more than 500 people would not be permitted due to COVID-19. This decision was reached after careful consideration of the current state, in discussions with the Jets and Giants, and in consideration of the health and safety of our fans, players, and staff, which will continue to be the primary focus for our teams. We support Governor Murphy's decision in the interest of public health and safety, and until circumstances change, both the Jets and Giants will play our games without the benefit of fans in attendance. Training camps, which are set to begin next week, will also be held without fans in attendance. I don't know exactly how many fans really show up to a training camp, but there's always a lot of fans in close proximity there trying to get autographs, so on and so forth. Monday's announcement comes as the NBA, NHL, and MLB are set to begin playing again without fans in attendance. The NFL had previously said that each team would determine whether fans would be allowed in games this fall. With guidance from local and state officials, the Ravens and Jaguars have both announced both announced plans to allow fans in at reduced capacity with strict protocols in place. Obviously, you have a stadium that's big enough to social distance, and you also have what will be a much smaller capacity. We urge our fans to continue to take the necessary precautions recommended by health officials to stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you at MetLife Stadium as soon as possible, the Giants and Jets statement said. This is exactly what they have to do right now. I thought, in all honesty, I didn't think there was going to be fans at the beginning of September. Again, New Jersey and New York are doing very well, but with all of the people and the population with New Jersey and New York, there are a lot of people, and we saw how quickly it spiraled out of control when it first started. New York was getting annihilated. New Jersey was getting annihilated. The last thing they want is when they're both on the verge of this recovery is to have that happen again. Honest to God, I do think that there will be fans at the Giants and Jets games, but I don't see it happening until the second half of the season, and it all depends on what happens. If there's a second wave, a second spike of the coronavirus, it will be shut down completely. Now, obviously, the right decision is to have local authorities, delay it. Instead of the NFL saying no fans whatsoever, I don't think that's fair. Because, again, New Jersey and New York wouldn't do it, not because they're not doing well from the virus, but because it's such a hot spot and there's so much attention. And just to think of what 80,000 people would look like inside of MetLife Stadium. It's outdoors, but still, you get my point. I can tell you this, I'd be shocked to see any arena at full capacity for what probably will be a late fall or the rest of the year at this point. They're doing it without fans. We've seen some stuff for baseball without fans. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. But again, it's going to be one of those things that either you'll dial into or you'll completely block out. As a professional wrestling fan, not having fans in the extent is so crucial, because the fans are such a crucial part of what makes wrestling wrestling. But as far as football goes, it's something that you can do. Hopefully, it shouldn't be rushed, but eventually, if they get the chance, they can incorporate some people. But again, 500 people inside of a football stadium really is kind of about 3 or 4 people in a normal world. But that's what the Giants and Jets are saying. Both teams get to play. Murphy made this decision, but it says the Ravens and Jaguars have announced to have fans in attendance. The Jaguars don't have fans anyway. Just kidding. And it's going to be strict protocol, so you're going to want to look closely to see what the Ravens and Jaguars do and how their approach is to it, because you have to keep in mind that they're going to be the first ones doing this. We don't know what else is happening. We don't know if the Buffalo Bills are going to have fans. Again, it's going to be a lot of different things to kind of just take in and see which way they go. On to the next football topic, the Tennessee Titans last week. Now, I was going to do the Mahomes thing, but I'm way behind on this. The Titans signed Derrick Henry to a 4-year, $50 million contract. Love it. Love it. Derrick Henry right now is my favorite football player. I love his style of play. I love everything that he brings to this Titans team. I'm going to read this article real quick. It states that Tennessee Titans running back Derrick Henry will be landing the big contract he wanted. Adam Schefter agreeing to a 4-year extension before the NFL's deadline. Derrick Henry signs a 4-year extension. Titans entered the offseason with 2 main objectives: ensure that Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry are with the team for years to come. Just a few months after signing Tannehill to a massive contract, Henry is now landing his mega deal. Henry signed his $10.2 million franchise tender in April, ensuring that he would be under contract for the 2020 season. Now, with the teams fearful of a looming revenue hit and watching their spending, the All-Pro running back secures his big payday. That's another thing I didn't think about for the NFL is how the payday is going to affect it. Again, you're not getting fan revenue. MLB, that was one of their problems with getting started underway, was they couldn't come to an agreement with the players and the union about basically where it is that they wanted to go. I thought of a lot of MLB players were being selfish. The new 4-year contract, first reported by Jay Glazer, will make Henry one of the NFL's top-paid running backs. Under the new deal, he will average 12.5, and the first 2 years of his contract are guaranteed. The 12.5 average makes him the 5th highest-paid running back in the NFL. Another thing, his stats prove monumental impact on the offense. We knew this. Henry racked up 1.746 scrimmage yards and 18 total touchdowns. At 6'3", routinely overpowered defensive backs and tore through the defenses. Henry accounted for 30% of the Titans' offense in 2019. He led the NFL in carries, averaged an impressive 5.1 yards per rush attempt. My problem, not to get off topic, is the Tannehill contract. Do I think Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback? Yes, I do. Do I think that Ryan Tannehill should be given a decent contract? Yes. Should it be 4 years, $100 million? No. I think the Titans were so impressed, and us as fans, as what Ryan Tannehill brought, because a lot of people that only watch the playoff games will tell you that Derrick Henry carried the team, and in the playoffs he did. But during the regular season, Ryan Tannehill really made an impression. He put up great stats through 10 games, but again, at the end of the day, it's 10 games. $100 million is a lot of money. Would I have given Tannehill that? I would have tried him at a 2-year deal. I don't know if I would have given him a 4-year, but we don't know what the negotiations were like. Maybe Tannehill was saying, I think Tannehill really, I don't think the negotiations were harsh, because I think Ryan Tannehill knows the position he's in. He's coming off this Miami team that had talent but was injured. The Miami team was never consistently good. Now he's on a team that pretty much sparked life out of nowhere and really just hit the gas in 2019, and it all started the second he came onto the team. Or the second Tannehill took over, Week 7 against, well, it was actually the second half of Week 6 against Denver. But I don't count that game because that was a miserable football game to begin with. Week 7 against LA, he hit the Jets. That's exactly what happened. Once Tannehill hit the Jets, I literally watched as the entire Titans team completely just flipped the switch. Everything became better. The defense was strong. The offensive linemen blocked a little bit better. Henry was running better. The wide receivers all of a sudden were open. All of these things that weren't happening because of Ryan Tannehill. But again, this is Derrick Henry. Good contract. $50 million is a lot of money. The problem is that Henry's play style is not suited for a long career. Hopefully he can stay healthy. He's had some nagging hamstrings, nothing crazy. The contract also states that $25.5 million is guaranteed. In one offseason, the Titans kept both Henry and Ryan on long-term deals, and that's what I think their ultimate goal was. We did see Logan Ryan walk, which was a bit of a hard pill to swallow. But their ultimate goal was to keep Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, and they were able to do it. Now, we just have to hope that Ryan Tannehill can replicate somewhat of what his 2019 performance was, and we have to hope that Derrick Henry can keep the train rolling. And that's basically where it goes from there. Both men were brought back on big deals, and we'll see what happens. The next topic is another Titans-related topic. Now, JADEVON CLOWNEY is in this situation where he doesn't have much leverage. He was being very greedy. We know JADEVON CLOWNEY has a very good pass rusher. The problem is he's very, very injury-plagued. JADEVON CLOWNEY has not has not signed with a football team yet because he's asking for a lot of money, and is the risk worth the reward? That is one of those things that I think you have to take into accountability. Is JADEVON CLOWNEY's great, but what happens if you sign him to that contract he wants, and then week 2 he's hurt, pectoral muscle, whatever it is, and he's out for 9 weeks, he comes back and gets hurt again. I like JADEVON CLOWNEY. I think he has a lot of talent. He has not officially signed with an NFL team as of this moment, but there's very strong chances that the Titans will be the team that comes through with JADEVON CLOWNEY. He comes through with JADEVON CLOWNEY. Now, the state here says the JADEVON CLOWNEY saga has been one to fill a book. It was between the Titans, Jets, and Seahawks. Then everyone backed out except the Titans. CLOWNEY then came out with a workout video and said he wanted to meet teams in person before signing a long-term contract. That's the part I want to focus on. CLOWNEY wants to meet with teams in person. A few months ago, it seemed like something that could be done. Obviously, here we are in the middle of a pandemic. That was not a possibility. With training camp beginning, the NFL might ease up on its restrictions and allow CLOWNEY and other free agents to meet with teams physically. Until the NFL allows free agents to do that, I don't know if CLOWNEY will sign with anyone, which leaves the Titans out to dry for nothing that they did. That puts CLOWNEY in a tough spot. Does he sign a 1 or 2 year contract without meeting a team, or does he hold out until he can get that meeting? A lot of NFL fans say that he doesn't have the luxury to hold out. If the Titans had planned on signing him by training camp or before the preseason begins, then they have to decide if they want to wait on him or sign another player who might have the same talent as CLOWNEY. In all honest opinion, that's kind of where we are right now. And that's another thing I didn't think about. If CLOWNEY had this opportunity to meet these teams, I think he would have been signed already. CLOWNEY's in a position to where I feel like he wants to sit down and negotiate a long-term contract. First things first, I don't care whose team it is. I'm not signing JADEVON CLOWNEY to a long-term contract, because when you have an injury history like that, you don't rub off as a 7-year deal kind of person. He has to understand where the teams are coming from. You're not on the field, you're not playing. So why am I going to throw all this money into you, despite the level of talent that you have, if you're not going to be on the field? I would sign CLOWNEY to a 2-year contract at best. And I wouldn't give him anywhere near what he's asking. I don't know what he was asking. He was asking for $35 million. I don't know where he gets that money from. But he wants to meet with teams, and that's not a possibility right now. I think if CLOWNEY meets with the Titans, I think the Titans will sign him. Do I want them to sign CLOWNEY? Yeah, I do. But I don't want it to be a long-term contract. Do not give this guy a 5-year, $60 million deal, because there's a good chance that it could bite you right in your face. You don't want to do that. I will keep you updated on JADEVON CLOWNEY. That is where we are with that of the Titans. Now, the last topic, I don't have any type of news. I don't have an actual article. I'm just going to speak from the heart. And that's Antonio Brown announcing his retirement. Antonio Brown, with a statement in 2020, holds as much value as a 5-year-old who thinks he's had his mind and his life made up. There's no value to that. This guy is so indecisive. He has some type of mental health issue. He's clearly bipolar. He has all of these problems, and we're supposed to understand that he is retired. Antonio Brown desperately wants nothing more to get on the football field. So the fact that he's saying he's retired should not be taken really serious at all, because that's just where we are right now. We don't know him personally, but I can tell you this. He wants to play. He's done in the NFL. He wants to go here. He wants this team. I love this team. I love the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. The Raiders, I can't wait. Can't stand the Raiders. Oh, sign me. Ravens, Saints, sign me. Saints want to sign me. Saints don't want to sign me. I want to play for this team. Sign me here. Seattle sounds fun. Let's work out together. Nah, I'm retired. Antonio Brown doesn't even know himself what he wants. So to sit here and say that, oh, this guy's retired, well, you know what? Water's wet. Water's wet. Antonio Brown is not retired. It's the same reaction I said when Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement. Rob Gronkowski was not retired. He was waiting for the right moment to come back after his body and mind healed. And he saw Tom Brady go to Tampa Bay on what will be a lethal offense, and he said, I'm coming right along. Bring me down. Antonio Brown is always in the headlines, and it's getting very difficult to understand him. Over the last year, he's done some of the dumbest things. He doesn't know what he wants, and he has God-given talent. That's the worst part of it. The worst part of it is that he has God-given talent that he's choosing to throw away because he doesn't know how to act. If he's retired, great, good for him. But I can tell you, somebody with talent like his, young as he is, he's not retired. If the trend of Antonio Brown sequences and saga has been anything to tell you of the trend of events, there's a 85 to 90% chance that he's not retired. You don't just say you're retired like that, unless you're Andrew Luck, of course. But we'll see what happens. This was a football-heavy episode. This is actually being recorded on Tuesday and will be uploaded on Wednesday. As far as NBA goes, I probably should dive into that a little bit. Baseball is beginning on Thursday. For you baseball fans out there, we will see how that goes. I'm actually being told the Astros were hit by 15 different pitches today. That's exaggeration. 2 guys got hit. It's going to be a world tour of hate for the Houston Astros. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. As always, stay safe.